tour of this beautiful library and archives. Welcome to our next session. This is CBCT, Cognitively Based Compassion Training, Advancing the Culture of Compassion. And we're going to begin this session with a brief video.
In a world that often feels overwhelming, where division and extremism pulls at the threads of our shared humanity, what can we call on to reconnect, to rebuild what's been frayed? Compassion. It's not just a feeling, it's a force, a skill, a science, a shift. In the words of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. For over 25 years, Emory University has partnered with the Dalai Lama to explore compassion not just as a virtue, but as a science and a practice. This collaboration sparked the Compassion Shift Initiative, anchored by two transformative programs, C-Learning for Children and CBCT for Adults. CBCT unites ancient contemplative wisdom with modern psychology and neuroscience. It's been shown to reduce stress, anxiety, and depression, and build empathy, self-compassion, and resilience. CBCT has reached thousands of individuals through certified teachers in 27 countries with programs taught in 15 languages. From Fortune 500 companies to frontline health workers, CBCT is helping people meet the emotional demands of modern life. Now through Compassion U, this groundbreaking training is available online, anytime, anywhere, for anyone to cultivate the skills that enhance and sustain compassion. Harnessing the latest innovations in online learning, Compassion U interweaves two powerful methods: self-guided interactive activities that you do at your own pace, and live classes with certified instructors. Compassion U puts the tools in your hands to bring these skills to life, including reflective exercises, a library of guided meditations, a personal journal, and an online community to connect you with people in your own profession, region, or language. Because the challenges we face today won't be solved by technology or creativity alone. They'll be solved by people who know how to meet themselves and each other with compassion. We invite you to join the Compassion Shift and help advance a global culture of compassion.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Leslie Langbert. I serve as the Assistant Director of CBCT programs at the Compassion Center at Emory University. I have been a certified CBCT instructor since 2014 and have the honor of being able to guide new certified teachers through the program, and I'm absolutely delighted and so grateful to be with so many of my friends that I have walked this journey with. His Holiness the Dalai Lama has said, we need a compassion revolution, and we need it now. In this session, you're going to hear from those that are on the front lines of this revolution, bringing compassion training into education, into healthcare, into business settings, leveraging creativity and deep commitment to help to create a culture in which compassion, this common human value that we all share, becomes more visible, becomes more a visible part of the integrated fabric of our lives. As you heard in the video, CBCT has been found through research to help support emotional resilience, to help us to be able to regulate our emotions more effectively, and is transformative in the ways that we relate to ourselves and the ways that we relate to others and the larger world around us. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you some of our partners that are going to share some of their impact stories about bringing together both C-Learning and CBCT as part of this compassion revolution and compassion shift. You're going to hear from Dr. Shumei Lin from the Liren Foundation, Education Foundation in Taiwan, from Dr. Yuki Imoto from the Center for Contemplative Studies at Keio University in Japan. You'll hear from Venerable Heiju Min from Sea Learning Korea in South Korea, Tenzin Pema from the Department of Education with Central Tibet Administration, and last but not least, you'll hear from Migadipa Chakravorty and her colleague Abita Seth from Piramal Foundation here in India. And with that, I invite Dr. Shumei Lin to come and share.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. Before I start, I would like to introduce my group to all of you. We actually has a large group from Taiwan with our chairman, Peter Khan, and our CEO, Liz Lee. And the entire group, please stand up so that people can see you. Thank you. The story that I'm going to share is all this collective effort, and it culminated to become a very beautiful scenery. So I have that honor to be the representative, but those efforts are made collectively. And so this story is a story that is not only about how a curriculum enters a school, but how educators, or what kind of change might bring after the educators got supported. So this is a story. Okay, I don't know how to. This side? This side? It didn't really switch side. Oh, nice. Okay, so this is a story about Sansha Elementary School. Sansha Elementary School located in the north of Taiwan. Oh, again? Where should I put? Oh, okay. Oh my God. I cannot communicate with the computer. Can anyone help me? Yeah? Okay. Tenzin, can you switch to the first slide, like the second slide? Thank you. Yeah, so Sansha Elementary School is the school that located in the north of Taipei, suburban Taipei. It's a mid-sized school with about 1,000 students, 50 classes, and 100 teachers. And this school has a very wise, This school has a very, very wise principle, and I will talk about that later. But Sansha Elementary School started collaborating with us because we have that collaborative effort. We want to really do some research to evaluate the effectiveness of sea learning in elementary school. So under the guidance of Robert and Tenzin at Emory University, we started seeking collaboration with New Taipei City Government, the Bureau of Education, and National Taipei University of Education. And in addition to that, Sansha Elementary School is the main partner school that we work with. Sansha Elementary School has a very wise president, Principal Chen. Before that research project started, there's no funding. But after he encountered sea learning, he immediately realized that children need more than academic success. They need inner stabilities and compassion. And that is the reason why, even without funding, he self-found for a 5-day sea learning summer camp to bring sea learning to the teachers and the students in 2024. And in 2025, we started the research project. So we collaborated with the principal to bring C-learning to the teachers. So there is this C-learning teacher training bi-weekly. And the teachers, originally, this class is only designed for the experimental group teachers. But then the principal think, oh, this kind of training are so precious and so helpful. It shouldn't be limited to a small group of people. So he opened it to the whole school and beyond. So all the school nearby, they can, the teacher, if they want, they can join. So now more than 30 teachers regularly attended this bi-weekly training. And in addition to that, for the other teachers, as you saw, right, there are 50 more teachers, like in total 50 teachers. So the other teachers that didn't get 100 teachers, sorry, and the other teachers that didn't get the training because they need to teach the class to the students on Friday. So they told the principal saying that, oh, we also want the training. Why is there only a Friday training? Can you open another classes for us? So in addition to the Friday training, they now have also a Wednesday training, like two cohort in total. And what really touched us is a lot of different stories from the teachers. One of them is from Director Lin Jinzhao. She is a director of academic affair, the Center of Academic Affair at the school. And because of the heavy workload from school administration, she always came to the training the last minute. But even with all those pressures, she never missed one session. And she even told us that I thought professional training meant more pressure, but every time I come here, I feel recharged. And this sentence, these words, stay with us for a very long time. Why? Because in Taiwan, teachers have to take all those professional training courses, and they really feel burdensome to spend extra hours in addition to their heavy workload. But in that kind of sentence, we see for the teachers, C-learning is not a burden. It is a space where they can find healings, find mutual benefits, and can help each other. And so, again, can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So Director Lin, she is also a math teacher. After she encountered C-learning, she started to think that C-learning can also be combined with subject-specific course. So she designed a series of math class to integrate C-learning and bring it to the students. So for example, you can see from the slides here, when she introduced percentage counting, she also introduced the Earth's water bank and the percentage of the fresh water on Earth, how limited that was. But then among the 2.5% of the fresh water, the distribution of the resources is such disproportionate to the extent that while some other people wasting the water, the other people do not have water to drink. And so in such a class plan, she bring in not only mathematics, but also ethical thinking, and a concern or empathy, or even nurturing compassion for the people on Earth. Yeah. And then we really appreciate her saying, this is what she said. She said, mathematics teaches logic, but C-learning teaches how to use that logic with warmth and compassion. Yeah. So besides that, we also see there is a school-wide movement with C-learning. So the students in the 5th grade are asked to draw kindness drawing. And after their drawing, there is a school-wide appreciation event. And after that event, the parents, the teachers and the students came together, talked with each other, listening to the artist, the small artist's rationale behind the painting, and they vote for the best painting. Oh my God, I haven't finished half of it. Okay, so they vote for the best painting, and we send it across the globe to Emory University. But we really see that kindness become one of the movements that's in the school. And in addition to that, actually, because there's limited funding from the Bureau of Education in New Taipei City, Principal Chen invited Parents Association to join. So now parents also join the teacher training. So we can see a very beautiful picture where parents and teachers sitting in the same room, talking with each other, sharing compassion story. And then the teacher also said it's the first time that they no longer feel alone in supporting children. And the parents also learned that education is not only about academic success, it's also about inner stability and also how to benefit oneself and others. So I have no time to go through all the stories, I'm sorry, but if you're interested, I can share more maybe later. But now, actually in the school, there are already 50 or more teachers, which means half of the school teachers participated in the teacher training. At least 20 parents also participating, 2 ongoing cohort, and its influence is expanding even wider to the nearby region because the other school teachers also joined. So we can really see that small moment of compassion can transform an entire school of community and beyond. And when teacher gets supported, the environment around them actually changed. And we think that perhaps the deepest transformation of education is not only about the student, but also about the educator. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. So I stand here with deepest gratitude and reverence as I share on behalf of Sea Learning Japan about the ripples, voices, and impacts coming from our community. Let me start a little bit about the Japanese context of mental health. The number of children not attending school has reached records. Many children are unable to attend because of fear and anxiety of going to school. Suicide of school-age youth are at a record high, and the burnout of teachers has reached records. In her book, The Anatomy of Loneliness, our dear colleague Chikaku Ozawa de Silva discusses how loneliness, which tends to be seen as an individual problem, is a relational social crisis, and that the solution to this crisis would be in the education of empathy and compassion. Sea Learning Japan has quietly grown as a community over the past 7 years, nurturing a shared culture with hope, compassion, and remembering. These are some voices coming from our Sea Learning Japan team, community members. Sea Learning and CBCT are hope for me. Through encountering them, the future I hope for, the world I want to leave behind, has come into view. Another comment is about how Japanese society has long treated endurance and perseverance and not burdening others as virtues. But these have at times led to a lot of emotional suppression and burnout. What is needed today in Japan is Sea Learning's offering, cultivating emotional awareness and self-compassion. So these are just some of the voices coming from our community. From here, I'd like to share a little about the story of this community still emerging, being nurtured every day. In 2022, we released the Japanese version of the Sea Learning playbook. This started as a group of friends wishing to bring subtlety and beauty in each word, sound, space, color, image, through translation. It was a form of prayer for the world rather than any goal or task. But after its publication, more friends started to join us and wanted to learn and spread Sea Learning together. So we started holding family retreats for practice, for translation, and some of us started taking the L1 facilitator training together. And more started joining the community, more family retreats started happening. And in 2024, the KO Center for Contemplative Studies was established, which now houses the two programs. And in March 2024, we held the first educator training workshop with Geshe-la and Sundula present. What we're continuing to value is to offer spaces where educators can learn in community and in embodied, deeper ways. In 2026, February, we were really fortunate to receive CBCT teaching from Geshe-la and Sundula at the Center for Contemplative Studies, and we brought together leaders from all sectors and from all generations and spent a deeply nurturing and contemplative time of learning together. This is a picture from that workshop. We've also been using the resources from Keio University to collaborate internationally on research as well. So our story shows that each small intentional act coming from care can ripple out, and that it can start from us, and that it's about continual practice, and we value the intergenerational and intersector engagement together. And our approach in working with schools have also been about relationships and listening to the field and to the educators. So let me just briefly introduce two schools. One is the Ohinata Primary School, where we have been working with one educator and leader, Haru-san, who has attended many of our retreats, and the Sea Learning at this school has expanded from just being in her classroom to initiative of what they call the Education of the Heart section, where teachers are able to access the resources of learning about education of the heart and mind. Another example is Mita International School of Science. So in this school, some educators started learning Sea Learning as part of a wish to bring back shared Japanese values in an internationalizing environment. One of the educators who's championing Sea Learning at the school has taken our Sea Learning workshops and also the CBCT offering. And he says that the language I use in the classroom has changed, because what I now hold as most important is the idea of creating a warm space And so that shows up every day in the morning assembly, during the cleaning time, at the end of the day. And the same emotional triggers that used to push me past my resilient zone, now I have space. So the words I use have also changed. So finally, let me end with some more words coming from our Sea Learning Japan community. What is Sea Learning Japan for us? So these are voices from some of our members here and also those who are here in spirit. I see it as compassion-based social transformation, connecting individual change to the regeneration of society. The quality of connection, the teamwork that can only be cultivated through shared contemplative practice and simply being together. Sea Learning Japan feels like a team that is actually living this. Continuing to ask, how can we serve people and the world while returning gently to a place of nurturance? And through CBCT, we hope to rediscover compassion cultivated within Japan's own unique culture, and that this becomes the occasion for what is already within us, each of us, and within Japanese culture, to bloom naturally. And finally, embodying as the future becoming itself, the shape of our world. So we'll end with some images created by Eriko-san, because I think a lot of what we practice and embody in Japan is something that is in between the words. And these are some images that capture what we aspire for, envision together in this work. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I can see your smile. And I'm from Sea Learning Korea, and I have my team. So could you say hello to my team from Korea? Thank you. I feel more connected with all of you. So today, this time, I'd like to talk about how compassion has been spread in South Korea with the Sea Learning and CBCT. So first of all, I'd like to introduce what is reality in South Korea. So what happens in South Korea right now with our students. So first of all, I'd like to introduce this PISA statistics. So PISA always talk about the students' life satisfaction and happiness. And fortunately, our students are very smart, so they have a lot of the higher score in their reading or math or science like that. But unfortunately, they have less life satisfaction. Even though they are smart and they have a higher score, they feel less satisfied with their life. And especially, I looked into the atmosphere of the school in South Korea with the PISA statistics, and I recognized that the Korea has a highly competitive society and community. So that's why even though they get higher score, they are not satisfied with their life because they are always comparing with the other students. So they cannot be satisfied with their score, with their life. So like this. So as you see, that Korea is in the highly rested in this score. And also the Korean people, Korean students less happy and also feel more sad. So they feel more uncomfortable in school and in their life. And also the more problematic thing is that when they fail, they worry about what others think about themselves. So even in the society of the competitive and comparing each other, they should fail, right? They should have less score than other people, other students. But when they fail, they feel like they are loser. So other people, other students, they become enemy to fight over. So that makes our students feel less satisfied, I think. So that's what I found. So that's why I can see that Korean school is more hyper-competitive society, but with a high social pressure. So they have a lot of social pressure, so they need to compete with each other, but they always feel like, oh, I'm not worthy at all, like that. So that's why we need more social emotional learning. So, and what I feel is that what we teach our children, our students, is anxiety, depression, loneliness, etc. That's Korean situation. That's the reality that we face, that we have faced right now. And especially, have you ever heard that 4-year-old has to take a test in Korea? Yeah. So yes, we do that to get into the English preschool. Yes, to prepare for getting into the preschool that teaches English, that use only English, they need to prepare for the test. And even when they are 7-year-old, they need to get into the better elementary school to get into the medical school. So they need to prepare for the medical school from the elementary school. But before getting into the elementary school, they need to take the test. That's Korean situation. I know, that's so sad. Yes. Do you feel they are safe in South Korea? Yeah, I know. So that's why we need still learning, we need compassion, we need CBCT in South Korea. And that's why I wanted to bring the still learning into Korea. And this is a good time actually in Korea, because in Korea, educational policy has been changed, and they promoted the SCA program into the school settings, and now we have the policy that we should apply SCA program at least 6 hours a year. I know it's very small, but it started last year, 2025, and fortunately, since this year, 2026, many educators, they should teach 15-hour SCA program a year. So every week they can learn about the social emotional learning. So that's why these days the teachers are looking for new programs or deeper or insightful programs about the social emotional learning. So that's why our still learning journey and CBCT learning has been expanded in a few years. And I actually started the still learning since 2018, and I met a person from Emory University at UC Berkeley. When I went to the UC Berkeley, there was a still learning workshop or still learning presentation, and I just met the person and, wow, this is what I need to bring to Korea. So that's why I contacted with the people in Emory and started since 2018. And I was in Delhi in 2019, and then it's been expanded in South Korea. And last year in 2025, the still learning has been selected as outstanding social emotional educational material by the Seoul Metropolitan Office of Education. Yeah. So the teachers in Seoul Metropolitan Office of Education, they received this still learning curriculum every teachers. So many teachers now they are noticing what C learning is, and they really want to apply the C learning curriculum into their classroom. Especially at the elementary school, teachers they are very open to apply different kind of SEL programs, and they are very open to use it. So, and also they have tons of time actually. So that's why they are these days more applying the C learning program into their classroom settings. So that's why we have this kind of statistics. So we have schools, more than 1,600 place that has been used, the C learning curriculum, and also more than 20,000 students, they received the C learning curriculum. And more than 2,000 teachers, they officially learned about the C learning from our facilitators. And now we have 38 facilitators. Sorry, I cannot see the monitor, so I need to check. So, 39 facilitators in South Korea and 8 facilitators in progress. So we are getting into more facilitator space so that they can spread and they can apply the C learning curriculum into different schools or different settings. So like this, and I have brought the students' voice and classroom movement. So these are the photos from elementary school and middle school, and those are the photos about the agreement, classroom agreement. So they got together and they made the agreement and then just attached on the wall. And I brought how the students feel, how their voice is. So I'd like to play this video clip, and actually she's speaking in Korean, so that's why I just put the translation of the English, so you need to read it. But you can feel what she felt, okay? So let's watch this video clip. Could I?
일단 크게 기억에 남는 건 3가지가 있는데요. 그 회복 탄력 영역에 대해서 배우고 나서 제 스스로 감정을 더 잘 다스릴 수 있게 되었던 것 같고, 또 명상을 통해서 한 곳에 의식적으로 집중하는 연습을 하다 보니까 공부를 할 때도 좀 더 집중력이 늘어날 수 있었던 것 같습니다. 근데 제일 도움이 많이 되었던 거는 선한고리 만들기라는 그 프로그램이었는데요. 이 선한고리 만들기가, 제가 반장인데 그 반에서 갈등이 생기면은 이제 어떻게 해결해야 될지 약간 막막함이 있었는데, 선한고리 만들기를 통해서 이럴 때 어떻게 대처할 수 있는지 배울 수 있었고, 좀 더 효과적으로 갈등을 해결할 수 있었던 것 같습니다. 이 전국에서 이 수업을 저희 학교만 한다고 들었는데, 이 수업을 들을 수 있어서 되게 행운인 것 같습니다.
Yes, so she said that she's very lucky, fortunate to have this curriculum. And also I brought two more video clip, and they are speaking in English, so you can just listen.
was learning about C learning. I was most interested in
How could you just click, please? Okay.
지금 저희 나이 때가 아무래도 뭐 호르몬의 영향이라든지 사춘기라든지 되게 감정 기복이 심할 때잖아요. 그래가지고 되게 쉽게 흥분하고 아니면 무기력해지고, 그래가지고 이로 인해 스트레스를 받았던 때도 되게 많았던 것 같아요. 근데 회복 탄력 영역에 배우면서 이제 제가 어떤 상태에 있는지 자각하고 이를 스스로 해결하게 나가는 데 도움이 되었어요. 그리고 수업 방식이 이럴 땐 이렇게 해야 한다 제시해주는 게 아니라 지금 나의 상태를 스스로 인지하고 어떻게 하면 오케이 영역으로 갈 수 있는지 스스로 생각하게 해주어서 도움이 되고 좋았던 것 같습니다.
Okay, so now English time.
동대부중 박선우입니다. While I was learning about C learning, I was most interested in the kindness. At first, I thought the kindness was important by just showing and acting to someone else. But after I learned sea learning, I learned that a real kindness was not just showing an action to others, but expressing the kindness from your heart to others, and plus doing the action to others. Thank you.
Yes, doing
Hi,
the
my name is
action.
and I'm the second grade of Donggo Middle School. Every Wednesday we have class of sea learning, and it shows us how to focus and be calm, etc. It is important to students because we can do work effectively. For example, when I study, I listen to music. However, I try to follow it and sing a song. Then I breathe it out and in slowly, and it makes to be focused and have calm routine. This way, I think sea learning is important and best learning in our class. Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening. So these are the student voice more. So if you are interested in it, then I will show you later because of the time limit. And also the CBCT Foundation workshop has been released in Korea. So the Geisha and Sondula came to Korea, and then they had the CBCT workshop and retreat every year since 2023. So almost 200 people participated in CBCT. And this time, we are going to have the CBCT program for soldiers in July. And especially Korea male, they should go to the military service, so it's mandatory. So we have religious leaders in every military. And religious leaders from Christian culture or Buddhist culture, they really wanted to learn about the CBCT. So we are going to offer the CBCT in July to them, to the soldiers. And these are the research background, the research result that we did for the elementary school students with the sea learning. So maybe you can just check. So we have many social emotional skills have improved with the sea learning. And this is the teacher's feedback. And then every teacher said that they were touched by the sea learning, and their touching feel or warmth and gentleness with the sea learning, that can be spread to the children's mind. So we can touch the teachers, and teachers can touch the students' mind, and that can change the world, I think. So thank you very much.
Chino Honsa Kamkin Chumbo Chola, Kusum Kuja, when the Pive Tone, Ane de Pepe Nabalinget Sangmala Tamti, Deshtele, Shueda, Ane Anzotringi, Sondu, Nala, Ane Purik Mimbe, Sojawa, Mawa Yuzang, Ane Konambe Gate, Konabatsola, Destab Dewa Yoechido, Nye Tamshedi, Ingenala, Shuchawa Shu, Shayi. So with my deepest reverence to His Holiness, the great 14th Dalai Lama, I would like to convey my warm greetings to everyone gathered over here, and my deep gratitude to the organizers for giving me, my colleagues, and all the Tibetan educators gathered over here this wonderful opportunity to attend this significant conference. We are very grateful for that, and thank you so much for giving me this platform, to represent the Tibetan educators. I humbly accept this. So many of you may not know much about the Tibetan education system here in exile, so I just want to take opportunity, to give you a very brief introduction of the Tibetan education system here in exile. So the Department of Education, where I work at for the last 9 years, is one of the 7 main departments of the Central Tibetan Administration. And the department was established back in 1960. So after coming into exile, His Holiness the Dalai Lama make top priority to give education to the young Tibetan children. And because of that, he requested the then Indian Prime Minister, Pandit Nehru, to establish separate schools for our Tibetan children, right? And the sole purpose of having separate schools for our children is to provide, standard, quality, modern, and traditional education, right? And the first and Emory, first school was established in 1960 with 50 students in Missouri. You can imagine, only 50 students, they could be integrated in 1 or 2 local Indian schools, right? But His Holiness' vision was far-sighted. We wanted to preserve, protect our identity. So as a result, many Tibetan schools, hundreds of schools, mushroomed. And right now, the Department of Education oversees 59 Tibetan schools in India and Nepal, accommodating around 13,000 children and 2,000 staff, including 1,250 teachers. And they almost all these schools, they are administered under 4 different autonomous bodies. You may know TCV, THF, STSS, SLF. So this is just a very brief introduction of the Department of Education, which takes the sole responsibility of imparting secular ethics education, learning in the Tibetan schools and settlements and the wider Tibetan diaspora. So the second part, why do we need learning in Tibetan schools, Tibetan community? There are multiple reasons. And one reason stands out, that is for the effective implementation of the basic education policy for Tibetans in exile. So many of you may not know about it. So this is the Tibetan education policy. We have this Tibetan education policy since 2004, and it's been more than 2 decades now we have been implementing this education policy in our Tibetan schools. So the very foundation of the initial draft of this policy, and later on the policy itself, is based on the inner science of Tibetan spiritual tradition, along with numerous teachings, advices of His Holiness the Dalai Lama given in past many decades. So you can imagine, how the values being taught in learning and the values, the vision of this policy align to each other, right? So just for example, there are 4 aims of giving education according to this education policy. And one of them is to develop altruistic mind in Tibetan children, right? Taking others more precious than oneself, sacrificing oneself for others. So how can we develop altruistic mind only with modern education? It's not possible, right? So we definitely need a systematic education curriculum, and learning is the one which came at right time. Because of that, what I have been emphasizing is, in order to implement basic education policy for Tibetans in exile in all the Tibetan schools, we need learning, right? And then I just want to read out the only one clause, okay? The purpose of education for Tibetan people in particular, a responsibility the Tibetan people have towards the world community is to preserve and promote the unique wealth of Tibetan culture and traditions, which are of great value to the whole of humanity through all times and circumstances. Another responsibility the Tibetan people have to the world is to promote and widely propagate the noble principle of universal responsibility as introduced and initiated by His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama. So these responsibilities are to be fulfilled. So these are some of the examples, excerpts I have made from this policy. If you are interested, we have brought some copies. You can have one from us. So this is the reason why we have been working so hard, taking sea learning to the Tibetan schools and settlements since 2017. So it's been now 8 years, our journey with sea learning, right? So now next part, I was assigned to make the statement of impact stories. So we have many stories, but I'm not a good storyteller, so I don't know whether it will be interesting or not, but there are many stories. And I have been with sea learning since 2017, and it has a great impact on me, on my life, personally as well as professionally. Right, and we don't have time to share a lot of personal stories, but I just want to share one, right? How it impacted my personal life, right? So His Holiness, now being Buddhist, yesterday, Anichyanla, she was saying that, we are all born Buddhists, right? But we don't get to study Buddhism. We don't know what's there, what's there inside. So we tend to leave, okay, now we will study later, and it's same. His Holiness often advises us to become the 21st century Buddhist, right? We have to study Buddhism. But I used to think that, oh my God, I have got multiple responsibilities, both at home, both, at work. So what I used to think that, okay, when I'm done with all these responsibilities, then I'll start studying Buddhism, right? And that will be too late, after retirement maybe, right? And it's very uncertain. But I don't know whether I'll be alive or not, right? But my journey with sea learning, it motivated me strongly. You shouldn't wait to study Buddhism. Till that, you should study. Because learning, studying, practicing little by little through sea learning, I realized that, I want to know more. I want to explore more. I want to know more tools and techniques to tackle my day-to-day ups and downs. And the solution is Buddhism, right? So I, along with my colleagues, Kamadigla and Penzumla, we got registered to the Nalanda diploma course of 14 months at Tibet House, by Geshe Doji Damdula, and we completed it. We are very proud of that. But, really, I don't know how much I learned. But I'm very happy that at least, I stepped forward to do some systematic learning about Buddhism. So that's what, so my personal life, impacted by sea learning, it reflects more on my professional life at my workspace. So I just want to name some of them, Now in the last 5 years, we have 105 sea learning facilitators in Tibetan community, and more than 400 Tibetan educators have completed C101, and then we have organized, conducted 25 workshops, both in India and Nepal, on sea learning, impacting, more educators, parents, students alike. And then we have, as I said, there are 59. Out of that, 38 Tibetan schools have in-house sea learning facilitators. They are helping their colleagues, their students and, the students' parents. And then 2 periods are allotted per week for C-learning, for secular ethics, and the department also grants, small amount for the implementation of secular ethics. And then we have publications, C-learning companion, curriculum, playbook, in Tibetan, and we are trying to adapt the insight activities of C-learning in Tibetan, children's literature, even in animations, you can see that. And I just want to highlight, a couple of things, the impact. We gave our maiden workshop on C-learning back in December 2017, like Jane and Geshe Lobsang Tenzila, and majority of the participants were the philosophy teachers, and we thought, we expected, we believed that, they would be the champions of secular ethics education in our schools and settlements, but, it didn't happen. There was little kind of resistance, and they were a little reluctant to accept this new subject, so it went by, right? But in these 5-6 years, many of these philosophy teachers, they were asking us to organize, workshop for them now. So last January in Debung Losaling, we organized workshop for philosophy teachers. So that's the great impact. And another one is, earlier when we were asking for applicants for the level 1 C-learning facilitators, right? There were very few, right? Because the Tibetan educators, they were, multiple responsibilities. There were very few. We had to call the school principals and all this. But this time, this cohort, we received, more than 150 applications, and we could accommodate only 30. So these are wonderful impacts. And can I take 1 more minute? Very important. Can I? So we are not very much, directly related with the ETSI program, but we are very much impacted by that program as well. We have organized many C-learning and CBCT workshops at Debung Losaling, and I have witnessed the science education going on over there. So I was very much inspired, because that's the vision of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to enrich the Tibetan language, right? To have more modern sciences like that in our language. So I was extremely inspired, and like we have Tibetan textbooks, science textbooks in Tibetan till 10th grade, but these are not implemented. But during the review meeting of the Tibetan textbooks, I even requested the members, the couple of members are here, Tenzin Utula and Tenshula. I requested, please, you could try in one of your classes, to teach science in Tibetan, right? But it didn't happen. But, we have stepped forward, and nowadays we are teaching social science in Tibetan language. That's the direct impact, from the ETSI program. And not only that, now very recently, one of the Tenzin Gyatso scholars, Geshe Lobsang Sangbula Kashak, the cabinet has appointed him as one of the members of Tibetan Education Council and Advisory Committee, and he has got a big responsibility now. We expect him to, impart both the science, modern science, and, Tibetan philosophy to the Tibetan young children. I'm so sorry. I couldn't complete. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before we start, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to His Holiness for his blessings, Emory University for their constant mentorship, and my foundation for the opportunity. Let me start by introducing Nazia, who is 12, from a remote part of Pulwama, Jammu and Kashmir. Every morning, she walks to school carrying more than books. In the silence of Pulwama, she has slowly learned to recognize fear before fractions, tension before books. At home, her parents worry about safety and survival. At school, her teachers try their best, while they carry their own wounds. Around her, conversation about emotions rarely happen. Feelings are swallowed like winter cold. Her friends cope with trauma silently. Sudden sounds make her anxious. She struggles to express what she feels because no one ever taught her the language of emotions. Yet behind her silence, there is a child who wants to dream of laughing freely, feeling safe, and being heard. Nazia doesn't only need marks. She needs spaces without fear, adults who can listen to her with compassion, and tools for her to understand her own emotions. She needs a classroom that heals, not just performs. Nazia is not an isolated case in Jammu, Kashmir, and Ladakh. There is a generation growing up amidst this uncertainty. When trauma becomes collective, healing also has to be collective. For Jammu, Kashmir, C-learning emerged as a solution. We adopted contextual approach involving trauma-informed and compassion-centered practices, a way of rebuilding emotional safety inside schools and communities. In this endeavor, we began by building strong foundations, worked closely with district and state government officials to create alignment, trained teachers and master trainers not only on curriculum delivery, but in understanding emotions, resilience, compassion, and reflective practices. We then integrated C-learning into classrooms and school environment. Dedicated hours on C-learning every week were incorporated. Created spaces for emotional expression, reflection, and listening. Conducted deep dive demonstration across 122 model schools, gradually having students engage in practice that help them recognize and regulate emotions. We as an organization believe that our efforts cannot solve these grave needs. And thus came the step of scale and sustenance. C-learning corners were set up in schools. Government funding was unlocked for teacher capacity building, development of tools for expression. Mental health and well-being conversations became a part of district and state agendas. Across these stages of our work, trust became the key enabler. Homegrown facilitators and regional teams carried lived understanding of the context. They understood, or rather I would say, they underwent the emotional realities as they belonged to them. This supported in creating deep, compassionate, and trust-based spaces for government officials, educators, children, and families. As a result, the schools like that of Nazia started seeing students participating meditation during morning assemblies. School environment created safe spaces for combating trauma through emotional expression and sharing. At the system level, we saw C-learning receiving parliamentary acknowledgement, formal endorsement from Government of Ladakh on student well-being. Department of Education, Jammu and Kashmir, constituted Divisional Mental Health Committee to make C-learning and mental health a priority for the state. At individual level, we started seeing meaningful shifts. Mr. Wangdu, Deputy Chief Education Officer, Kargil, quotes, C-learning equipped me with tools for self-awareness, patience, and emotional balance, helping me meaningfully integrate these learnings into both my personal and professional life.
As we can see in the picture, today classrooms in Jammu Kashmir are transforming into safe space and inclusive spaces where children are collaboratively learning and express themselves freely and feel emotionally secured. This shift is creating a meaningful impact in the lives of millions of children like Nazia. Now, the interesting thing is to look at that what transformed at the system level that the shift happened. We, as an organization, we believe that meaningful change in others begins with change within self. This belief shaped our theory of change. Self-change lead to system change through leadership and organizational development, and that has guided our intervention across states that we are working in India. To strengthen the process of embodiment of C-learning among educators, our self-change to system change approach work towards omni-channel that encompasses with multiple channels. And these 5 engagements enable educators to embody, practice, and demonstrate C-learning in their everyday interaction with children. And that actually, this process helps children to empower not only to survive adversity, but also to heal, thrive, and shape resilient future for themselves and their communities. Now, our presence and the impact that we have created across India, we have expanded C-learning in 9 states of India. So far, we have unlocked 670 million government fund that being used for C-learning in the states. We have trained around 34,000 government officials in C-learning. We have trained more than 0.7 million teachers in C-learning, and we have impacted 100,000 schools in India across 9 states. Together, these efforts are strengthening the education ecosystem to nurture emotionally resilient, compassionate, and future-ready children at scale. Over the period of time, while doing from the school to district to the state, we have institutionalized classroom practices and built state ownership to system to advance C-learning at scale. What we see in the school in in their regular practices, experiencing contextualized curriculum, they have dedicated sessions and C-learning tools that being integrated in the school timetable so that they can practice and have in-depth classroom practices regularly. The spaces of C-learning corners created for everyday emotional practices. While going to the districts, what we have worked upon, creation of C-learning cadres and champions, curation of teacher manuals, embedded C-learning in institutes, training calendar. We have also institutionalized in the district administration well-being zones. In state, we influence education policy through curriculum framework, co-created contextualized content for teachers, facilitated state-led publication. Moving ahead, while we're implementing C-learning, we realized that we need to measure and also see impact through evidences which have initiated to conduct studies. We have conducted online baseline studies to understand competencies, C-learning competencies among 2,000 students for grade 6 to 8 across 40 public schools, and we could see 11% of improvement, overall improvement in the C-learning competencies. Another study that we tried to understand that how does it affect the SLO, and we did a subsample study of nearly 700 students for grade 10 in 20 public schools, and we tracked the class 10 board examination results over 3 years period. And this finding as well showed that students who experienced C-learning, they demonstrated stronger consistency, their concentration level were high, and their academic improvement has happened over time. Another study that we have conducted in our C-learning journey, we assessed C-learning competencies with 590 students from grade 7 across 60 public schools, and findings showed that noticeable improvement in student stress management, focus, and emotional control has improved. To conclude, and going back to the study, this point where we started with the story of Nazia, what really Nazia required? What are the things that she wants to ensure her well-being? Nazia's transformation depends on the ecosystem around her, the educator, the school, and the system that nurture her growth in the safe and compassionate space, free from fear and stress, provide her tools to navigate and express her emotion and build her agency. We at Piramal Foundation remain committed to continuing our work in C-learning to build a more compassionate and resilient education system for millions of children like Nazia. With that, I express my sincere gratitude to all of you, and thank you.
there's so much inspiring excitement and commitment to the compassion shift. It's so wonderful to hear all of these beautiful impact stories. Now we're going to move into a conversation together about CBCT, and I'd like to welcome back to the stage Shumei, Yuki, Heiju, and two additional panelists joining us. So I'm so happy to welcome Oyu Undrak Gondush from Mongolia, from DHF Foundation, and Ishan Sharma from Piramal. Thank you, friends, for is this on? It's not on. Let me figure out. Now.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're all awake now, aren't you? I feel like I'm shouting at you and I'm whispering. All right, welcome, friends. So good to be with all of you. I should share with all of you that while I introduce all of my friends by name and let you know the organizations they're with, you can learn more about them. Their biographies are located in the program. All of my friends up here are all certified CBCT instructors and have been certified for different periods of time. Many of them are senior CBCT teachers, which really means that they have been sharing CBCT quite a bit, really consistently for quite some time. And as we move into the conversation, I've been thinking about our beautiful imagery here for the conference and the ripples, right? The ripples of compassion. And I wanted to really just weave our conversation in such a way that we start with the ripple of the individual and begin to kind of move that out to explore some of the ripples of how compassion training has been impacting your communities and the future direction where it's going. So I want to start by, this is a question really for everyone. So anyone that would like to share about this. I want to invite you to just think about your personal experiences with CBCT. And what shifted for you that you felt really called to make that journey from being a practitioner of this profound practice to really feeling called to want to become certified and share it with others. What were maybe some of your personal motivations or aspirations? And anything that really feels particularly alive now as you continue to share? Uka, would you like to start? Okay. Is this thing on?
Is it on? Okay, it's on. Thank you. When I was, your question was like from practitioner to become a teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I joined CBCT teacher certification program because I was the board member of this foundation. So my boss said you should go, so I joined. But in the beginning, I really thought that we already introduced e-learning in Mongolia, so one of us, or many of us, as many of us possible, to get to know CBCT and really sit down and think about how to implement it. Never thought I'm going to be the teacher and spreading it out. So while I was studying CBCT, I had this incredible classmate called Bill. He turns out very big. I understand that he's MD, oncologist, and turns out he's a professor at Emory. But to me, he's just my classmate. So he was telling about how CBCT could be very useful for these medical healthcare professionals and what they're up against. Mm-hmm. Then I realized that I lost my dad like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then the emergency ambulance doctor and the emergency doctors thought that it's an insulin shock, but actually he had a stroke. So they lost the first 12 hours, and we couldn't do anything, and we lost him. So I remember the 2-3 doctors' face, and I was thinking about it. And one day I'm going to meet them and say that you cost me this. I'm going to tell them that. But because of Bill, I let it go. I realized what they're up against. I don't want them to hating themselves for making this mistake. Mm-hmm. I want them to get a resilience, be better, and help others. Then it got me thinking. It changed my mind, and the first person benefits from it was me. I'm out of the prison. I forgot the 2 persons' face. Maybe I run into them now, but I don't recognize them anymore. So many of these kind of things happened to me personally. And my background is business administration, marketing, and I'm working in the mining sector. I don't have science, any background. I wasn't really interested about it. So everything was so new to me. It's like, wow, this is how the brain works. What? Amygdala, what is that? Attachment. So everything was so new, interesting. And that's why maybe I was so dry and get everything like a sponge. So I see the changes in myself, and I really want to share it with others. And in the supervised co-teaching, when it was about to start, there was there's some cancer hospital oncologist doctors who's interested and want to have a class. Do you want to try a supervised co-teaching there? That was offered by my colleague, like Arunzaya. And then I was like, what? I'm not ready for it. And then she looked at me and said, that's your ego, they need it. The program is great, but you don't want it because you don't want to look bad. It really struck in my heart and in my head. So I try my best. I don't have to be perfect, but I try every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ishan. Others?
Yeah.
Would you like to share? Ishan, yes.
Yes. So good evening, everyone. I think it's a very interesting question. When I started practicing CBCT in 2019, so there are many people who carry the stories they don't choose. Some of us, we engage with the projections like reality, and I was one of them. That particular time I was going through a very difficult phase in my personal life, and I was holding myself responsible for many things. Actually, I was not responsible for them. And then CBCT helped me to figure that out, what I am doing with myself. Mm-hmm. And especially the self-compassion helped me to figure out, oh no, this is not the way to see the thing. There is an alternative way to see the things, the way you need to see yourself. And especially CBCT helped me to see that the first service is you to do the service of yourself, and service is not a transaction, it's the state of being. And after having that benefit from that, I figured out there are many people like me. Yeah. How can I serve to them? Mm-hmm. And answer of this question pushed me to think different, and then I said, no, yeah, the CBCT instructor or teacher is the journey to help the people like you. And that's how I have pursued the path of the CBCT teacher instruction.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Ishan.
Thank you.
Anyone else feeling called to want to respond to that?
Okay, I can start.
Beautiful, thanks, Shani.
So my journey with the compassion education started from Sea Learning in 2021. And after encountering Sea Learning, I was struck by the curriculum because it's so well designed and so rich. And I really think that's what the society needs now. So I started to collaborate with my Malaysian partners to translate the stuffs. Or after I came back to Taiwan, so before that I was in the US and UK. And after I came back to Taiwan, I got involved in the promotion of Sea Learning. And then I also had that opportunity of but attending His Holiness's teaching. And I remember it was a very transformative moment for me because in that teaching, His Holiness was talking to the Tibetan people, saying that, encouraging them that although the situation for Tibet is not that good, they should still have hope, and they should treasure what they have because it's a pressure in the world, and maybe although we suffer from such circumstances, but eventually maybe, for example, the Chinese people might need that, and so if you treasure it. If you continue learning it, practicing it, treasure that precious thing, you can offer it to the Chinese brothers. And it was that moment that struck me because Chinese people were, or the communist China is something or someone, some state that had maybe hurt the Tibetan community so viciously, and yet His Holiness was thinking of offering them their most precious thing. And I was very touched by His compassion, so I was thinking that what else can I do with my limited capacity? Maybe I can also do more for other people. And I learned that Sea Learning and CBCT is the vision of His Holiness. So I hope I can also play part in it. And that is my journey begins.
Thank you.
Me? Okay. This is Asian culture, you know. You go first. What I liked about CBCT, I can say tons of things actually. So first of all, so Buddhist practice should understand the suffering in our life. So we have sufferings, we have adversity, we have a lot of challenges in our life. And what I liked about CBCT is that it deals with the suffering directly, but it doesn't, it's not only talking about suffering, but also it talks about how to deal with the suffering wisely and compassionately. So that's what I liked about the CBCT, and also I liked about the practice of the CBCT because it integrates with the mindfulness, awareness, heedfulness with the cognitive process of emotions or something that makes us feel suffering. So kind of attention deployment or self-distancing or cognitive reappraisal, that they are related to the mindfulness practice, awareness practice, and heedfulness practice. And especially the heedfulness has not been talked by other programs. Mm-hmm. And I think this is the key point that we can talk about the CBCT, because we need to think about what helps us and or what helps other people, and what is harmful for other people and us. And the CBCT talks about that, and we need to think about that to live together with other people. And also it's talking about self-compassion, but also compassion for others. Especially these days, there are so many people who are very, very compassionate for themselves. And when we talk about adolescents, I actually, one of the teachers who applied the C learning in Korea in middle school, and she told me that, you know what? Their self-compassion is very, very good. we don't need to teach them about the self-compassion, but we need to talk about compassion for others. What is compassion for others? Why we need compassion for others? It's because we are connected to each other. We are influencing to each other. So that's what I really liked about the CBCT. We need to talk about compassion for others. So yeah, and other than that, there are so many. But we have time limits, so maybe later. Yeah.
Yes, please. Thank you, Heiju.
Yeah.
Very briefly. So how I became trained, or the transition from practitioner to teacher, was, it just really felt like a gift that needed to be shared. And in 2024, our Japan team were so honored to receive the Dalai Lama fellowship, which allowed us to train several teachers who have now become the first cohort of teachers. And so all of us, I think, feel that it was not something, again, planned or anything, but it's such a precious gift, and it's just this we feel moved to do whatever we can to serve the vision of His Holiness. And in Japan, many of us have sort of Zen practice backgrounds, but this idea of analytical meditation is quite new for many people, and more as we study the program, we see the strength, the power of analytical meditation. And we also learn that compassion is not just about being nice, but there's also an element of needing strength and fierceness that I think we are all continuing to learn on this path.
Thank you. This next question is for Shumei and Aishan. I want both of you, really all of you, anyone can jump in on this one. So expanding the ripple a little bit more and reflecting on those that you've shared CBCT with, and just thinking about where you've noticed or you've observed the impact of CBCT on adults that you've had the opportunity to share the practice with, or maybe perhaps what you've seen happen more broadly, either within a family system or within an organization. What sort of comes alive when we begin to explore that ripple of the impact that we may see in participants that we guide through this practice?
Thank you, Leslie. So maybe I start. Before I answer directly the question, I would like to share what happened recently in Taiwan. There are two cases that just happened in these 2 weeks. One is a graduate student committed suicide because he think he was mistreated by his advisor. And then another case is a 52-year-old elementary school teacher got bullied by the student and committed suicide right in the school. And we know that I learned this from my roommate. And my roommate told me, indeed, this teacher, she only need 3 more work and then she can retire. And yet, she went back to the school and commit suicide right in the campus. What I'm going to say is that I don't know in other parts of the world, but in Taiwan, the education system, although we are all trying to improve it, but still for teachers supporting system is not really enough. And most of the time we think of the students' benefits, we think of student welfare, but sometimes we forget that who take care of the students. Yeah, and those teachers, they also have vulnerabilities. So when I facilitate CBCT to the teachers, I really feel that that's what they need. Because when I share the story with them and share the CBCT principles with them and also doing the settling practices with them, I feel that there is this relief and this feeling of re-energizing in the atmosphere. And that's what they actually did not really have without those training. They choose to become educator because they really want to take care of the children. But on the way, maybe because of so many things happened, gradually their passions warmed. Gradually they become less hopeful, and they sometimes need help. Yeah, and CBCT is something that I think can really bring the teachers skills and abilities to really take care of themselves while take care of the children.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think I would like to build from the point of the people in the system also have the vulnerability and they need care. I have a very vivid memory of interaction with the Director Education Rajasthan State. In the interaction, she said there was a culture of the complaint box everywhere in the office. Just to know what is not being done, so it gets noticed and to be done by the people. And what we do generally with the complaint, if there is a complaint against the person, we take the punitive action. And what kind of the environment it will create into the office. It obviously creates some stress, tension among the people. And she was very pained with it. And when she visited schools, she observed C-learning and she attended the CBCT sessions. She said, yes, there's gratitude exercises also there. The gratitude box was there into the school, and the shift of in the school environment she observed. She said, I would like to install the gratitude box in my office. And she installed the gratitude box in her office and started encouraging staff to appreciate people for a small thing, even a small favor or some support in the work everyday action. And let's see how this changed the environment. Yeah. And the initiative of hers has changed the environment. The level of the complaint has reduced, and the staff within the office feel more satisfied and more helping each other. So that's how the ripple is happening. So this is what I want to say.
Yeah. Thank you. That's so powerful. I'm reminded that there was earlier on one of the panels talking about how the change comes within the organization when the leaders are really called back into why they felt called to serve. Yeah. And that feels like a very beautiful example of that. Shumei, Heiju, and Yuki, this question is for the three of you. All of you are employed in universities in your countries, are scholars in different fields, and are such incredible connectors between the academy and the larger community. In the United States, we refer to this as translational research, and universities in America that are sort of charged with that are we call them land grant universities that take the research and bring it out into the community. And it's beautiful to hear in your impact stories about how you've been making that bridge with C-Learning and CBCT and beginning to weave that care of the teachers, teachers having their own practice, their own way to continue to come back to the well, if you will, to be nourished, to feel secure, to feel well-resourced, to continue to give of themselves to young people. And I would really appreciate hearing how your universities have been embracing CBCT in different ways, whether that is, that the bridge into the community, anything that you may have been noticing that is taking root on campus within student life, or just share with us a little bit more about CBCT in your universities and the roles that you hold and how that connects.
Yeah, so CBCT, yes, I'm wondering how much it has been embraced actually within my own institution, KO University. Because sometimes universities can be quite complex and conservative institutions. And compassion is not something that is well known or researched in Japan so much. But I'm so grateful that the university has given me an opportunity to create a center which, as Leslie mentions, it can be a bridge between the research and the academy and the wider public. So within campus, it's still a very small ripple of what I can do in my capacity in the classroom, how I can talk about CBCT to my colleagues. But it really has been beyond what I imagined, how the wider community has been embracing CBCT. And this would not have been possible without the trust that KO University holds. So I think the research and also the institution has been a critical part in bringing CBCT into Japanese society. Of course, it's still just the beginning, but I still feel that so many people are wanting to learn this program. So, my aspiration is that within my own institution, I will eventually be able to reach more students, more faculty. But maybe it's first from the outside, and then eventually we come back into the institution. Yeah.
In my university, I
so my university is Dongguk University, and it has the mandatory course for the freshmen, and they should take the meditation course for a year. So for the first semester and the second semester, and actually this is not because of the CBCT ceremony. So it's been doing like this for more than I think 30 years, like that, and recently after I had some time to talk about Seal Learning and CBCT with some professors who's taking care of the meditation course, and they learn about check-in and asking how they are feeling, how are you feeling, with some different kind of method. And also they are, and also I just let them know how to make the how can find some strategies to regulate or navigate our emotions with the resilience. And I just let them know about the mindfulness, awareness, and heedfulness, those kind of things. And after that, they started applying those kind of method into the meditation course for the freshmen. So interestingly, my department is Youth and Adolescent Education Department. So I teach pre-service teachers. So usually when I bring the Seal Learning and CBCT to the pre-service teachers, I teach when they are in the 3rd grade. And when I asked them, how do you feel? And they notice what I'm asking. They said, oh, I learned from meditation course. I know what are you talking about, like that. So I think the meditation teachers, meditation professors, they are integrating this kind of method from Seal Learning and CBCT into their own class, and then that spread to other students. So I think this is a very good sign for spreading compassion in our university. And also, they want to bring the compassion in their own life, it's the students and also the professors. So they are more talking about the self-compassion and compassion for others. And when I bring the Seal Learning and CBCT to the pre-service teachers, I always talking about the interdependence, interconnectedness. And after we talked about the kindness and compassion for others or for themselves, on the basis of the understanding of the interconnectedness and the common humanity, they feel the mood is changing. So they feel like they are very respecting for other students, and they feel like they are being there with the other students together in the classroom. I can feel that kind of atmosphere with the teaching of Seal Learning and CBCT, and I think they will be changing their way of teaching when they are becoming a teacher. So I think this is another influence of the CBCT and Seal Learning. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so coming next to Haeju is a little bit pressured. Not really. I really enjoy Togo University's atmosphere because I was there in one of the retreat, and I'm going to join their retreat again, yes. So in my university, my university is National Taiwan Normal University. It's one of the leading university for education in Taiwan. I wouldn't say there is already a kind of spreading influence of CBCT or Seal Learning because of multiple reasons, but I do see there's some changes starting to happen. Indeed, my university has a very powerful Department of Education, and they collaborated with the Bureau of Education, the National Bureau of Education, to implement SEL to schools. So their SEL program is already there, and to introduce Seal Learning to them is a little bit tricky, but This year, we have supported by the chair of my department, we have a C-Learning International Forum. And just right in front of them, Gisela and Zundura present C-Learning and CBCT. And also we have that conference actually 2 years ago at my university as well. And this time, I feel that they really engaged in it. And even now, when they talk about SEL program, they will include C-Learning in the conversation. And I think that is a very positive sign, although the changes is kind of minor, but at least it's a start.
Yes. Thank you all. These are such beautiful examples of how CBCT for educators is being implemented and growing. And CBCT has also been tailored for healthcare, for business and leadership. And so my next question is for Uka. We were talking earlier this morning about some of the really creative and innovative ways in Mongolia that you've been able to really build capacity to share CBCT broadly across some really interesting sectors, some unusual ones, bringing CBCT into police and into social services and treatment centers. I remember talking with you about that months ago. I'd love to hear more about what you found that has been particularly impactful or successful, and what do you think was really most important or relevant for that success that others may want to try to hold if they're as other affiliates may be thinking about wanting to replicate expanding in that way into those other sectors of healthcare or business and leadership?
I didn't share success story. I shared the impact story. I'm just kidding.
Which is a success story.
Okay. So it's mix of many things, I think. And Mongolia, all the countries are different, but Mongolia is Buddhist cultural country. And CBCT is really based on Lajong, like mind training. So when we offer CBCT, when you talk about it, it's not new, totally new to Mongolia. It's something they know, something they heard from their grandparents, something like lifestyle, and just that we don't want that religion anymore. We want science, we want America, we want USA, we want fast growth. And then we were like, yes, it's Emory, America, and science, and they'll be like, okay, I like it. So yeah, this great work, Negila's CBCT is a great work, and the program itself is great. So of course that's also well, and I do believe like this program is blessed by His Holiness. That's why it's going well for us as well. But our foundation starts with 5 cohorts. First one is like 5, 6, and it's all scholarship for preparing the teachers, and we have certain agreements with the teachers to work with us, offering CBCT, and they all have primary commitment. Some of them is we chose sociology professors from Mongolian National University, and they come to us, okay, I didn't go out and select, but very luckily many of them sent CVs, and but this background practitioners, and also Mongolian Medical University professors, public health. We chose 2, one become parliament member, and then we have University of Finance, we have psychologists. So they have this primary job and commitment. That's why they're not full-time, but they really want to spread CBCT. They gain from this program, and they want to give it back. It's no one is coming to us and thinking like, oh, I got to become a certified teacher and make it like another job or earning tool or something. They all want to give back. Maybe that's why. It's like our community is like that, the community of the teachers. So maybe that's one of the tools, I think, the success. Why is it? And what was it, the other one? Sorry.
You were right
how
there.
it was impactful, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also I also shared in my impact story that we encourage the corporate companies, the banks, to get this course, and so that we can have a sustainable work going on, offering these courses for free of charge for our target groups. And also, it's a trend supported by some law of tax that corporates have like social responsibility. Our social responsibility, we made this, decorate this area, something like that. And people are like judging, oh, the social responsibility becomes social advertisement. It's become their own PR. So they would love when it's like changed to get the training for their company people, and then from that it's benefits to the others like police and the healthcare. And also we are 3.5 million people only in Mongolia, and 1.8 million in the Ulaanbaatar city, and of course limited human resources problem everywhere. So individually they're very good, but it's most important is can they work together as a team? So all the companies, banks and corporates, they want to do something to make them, like make a team, like sense of in-group. So they needed this program. This is what they needed. So they understand it. And we offer CBCT introductory class for free. And I used to be the project leader for first 1.5 years. So I'm a certified teacher. I'm a full-time. I don't have primary job. So I give free introductory class everywhere. So they were like, okay, it's free? Okay, you come. But I tell them, we ask the people, you invite everyone. I'll give the free introductory class. And we have to make sure that those people having the full course should be on their own willingness. Cannot be company pay for it and they're forced. So let them make a choice, and I'll give the introductory. And that's maybe one of the reasons they loved it, they continue it. And yeah, I think that was it.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you so much. I could talk about CBCT all day. I really could. We have 2 minutes. Speed round, friends. Are you ready for the speed round? Let's just briefly talk about what are your aspirations or plans for how you visualize CBCT and C-learning expanding in your countries moving forward. Ishan, would you like to start?
Hello. So India as a country needs the leaders all across the sector. And foremost in the nowadays scenario, we need the compassionate leaders. And therefore our vision is to embed the compassionate leadership across the sectors, health, education, climate, the domains we are working in. Apart from that, we are planning to take it to the business. We need the compassionate business leaders, and planning to take it to the university in curriculum. So we have the future generation of the compassionate leaders. This is the 3 broader area of our plan. That's why we want to take into the country. Yeah.
Thank you.
So the CBCT retreat in 2026 left me with a vision and aspiration that we continue to bring leaders from every sector together for deep practice of CBCT, and that through forming communities, interdependence across sectors, we can create ripples that extend far beyond.
And in Korea, I think this is the starting point. So as a senior teacher, I would like to bring the CBCT to more teachers and more facilitators so that they can spread the CBCT into the Korean society, because I want to have Korean people who feel more happiness and who feel free from suffering and who feel more compassionate for other people and for themselves. So with this subject, I would like to bring more CBCT to more people in Korea. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
For me, I think I really hope that by promoting CBCT and C learning, all the people that need care can be well taken of, and all the people that's taking care of others know how to take care of themselves.
Beautiful. Thank you.
We want to expand CBCT to Mongolian language. We have rural areas that now is very limited because they don't speak English, and we cannot make them to be certified teachers. And for law enforcement, all this, our target group, if we find someone who wants to be CBCT teacher, we can make them a teacher. Will be very easy. I have to prove myself that I'm one of you, I'm one of you. That takes a lot of time to start the whole course. So that's why we need in-house training. So we're really hoping that this year we have 2 senior teachers. We can have the teacher certification program in Mongolian language, and making my other teachers who's professor at universities, they're in the mission of making it elective program in the universities.
Yeah.
And I hope I will have more successful confirmed information about this in the next conference.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so very much, Ishan, Yuki, Heiju, Shumei, Uka. Thank you for your deep vulnerability in this conversation, for the inspiring examples that you shared, your vision moving forward. I'm so honored to be able to work with all of you on this journey of sharing CBCT and compassion training all over the world. So grateful to my colleagues, especially my dear colleague, Penny Clements, who is my partner in certifying CBCT teachers and supporting our network. Deeply grateful to Geshe Lobsang for so many things, especially changing my life by developing CBCT and graciously inviting me to learn it and share it. Thank you to the Dalai Lama Trust for hosting us all week, and deep, deep gratitude to all of you for your generous attention, kindness, and patience. I know that we are a little bit over time today. I'm going to hand things back over to Hannah. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. This is such a beautiful representation of how these programs really are making an impact across cultures, across contexts, and around the world. So thank you all. If you all want to walk off that way, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so we're moving into our concluding session for 3 days. I wanted to start by, as we shared at the opening session, this past academic year at Emory University was designated as a year of compassion in honor of His Holiness's 90th birthday. And our key partner at Emory in this initiative is the Michael C. Carlos Museum, which is Emory's internationally renowned art and archaeological museum, located right in the heart of Emory's campus. If you ever have the chance to visit us, please go check out that museum. And as part of Year of Compassion, the museum is hosting a beautiful exhibition titled Compassion, What Moves You? So I'd like to briefly invite our dear friend and colleague Jen Knox up. Jen helped curate the exhibition, and she'll share a few words about it and introduce a 3D rendering that will allow people from all over the world to experience it from wherever they are. And during dinner, we'll have a QR code up that you can use your phone and scan and actually go through the exhibition yourself when you want to. So Jen, please come share a few words.
Hello again. So we are thrilled. Many of you have been long waiting this update. Could I see a show of hands of participating affiliates who had children in exploring the concept of what moves you and sending packages back to us? Okay, wonderful. So we had 13 countries represented. And this exhibition was done in collaboration with a dear colleague of ours, Brendan Osawa de Silva, who is an associate teaching professor of academic programs with the center. And it was a deep honor to collaborate with him. In a university setting, we were focused on really integrating science, art, as well as all of the disciplines on campus. So the museum really serves as an incubator, an interdisciplinary lab, and a place where we can actually conduct research as participants visit the museum. So I'll show you just a couple of images, but as Hannah mentioned, you'll be able to access a 3D rendering, and this is something that we hope you will bring into your contexts. It's a living 3D rendering that will remain and will be archived on their website. There will also be photographs that you have access to. So if you'd like to take this back to the children who participated or to communities and invite them to prompt your communities with the same question that we prompted the other children with, you're welcome to continue this project in your schools and communities and with your teachers. So this is an initial image here of as you move in. So I'll give you just a little brief kind of sense of what happens. We invite you to walk through the threshold, and to the right of this compassion sign, there is a vessel holding stones. And for those of you who engage in sea learning, in our trauma resiliency model, we're inviting each participant to transition from the outside world to the inside world by way of a grounding practice. So each individual has a stone that they can hold, connect to, and then there are vessels throughout the exhibition that allow for you to essentially vote on what moves you. So the exhibition was designed with all of the participants in mind. So perhaps, although you don't have the physical proximity to the museum, when you look through this virtual reality, please think of where you might deposit your stone along the way. There's a narrative arc from what moves you to what moves us, and then at the end of the exhibition, we move into what are we moved to do. The fundamental concept here is that we care about things that are made visible for us. So we invite each individual through science, through the visual art offerings, installation art as well, to engage with the somatic experience that might actually allow for your sensations to be catalyzed. And then we ask that question, what are we moved to do, with wonderful exemplars in a global community. So as we move through, you'll see Richard Moore. Many of you may know him through our work collectively. He is referred to by His Holiness the Dalai Lama as his personal hero. So we have the rubber bullet here. It's a replica of the one that blinded him during the Troubles in Northern Ireland. Here we're examining what we call the fullness of forgiveness, an embodied level of forgiveness. And it's an example of when we collectively are subjected to violence, that it might catalyze empathy and compassion within us. And as we move through from the what moves us, we move into this space of what are we moved to do? So you'll see the Compassion Lab here. Dr. Osawa de Silva's Social Empathy Lab students helped design this space, and you'll see their labels in glowing white labels that invite individuals who visit the museum to reflect on their experience there, any shifts that they see, and the prompts were designed by the students in his lab, undergraduates and graduate students. These were collected. There are many, many coming all the time. 700 were collected for a recent poster session in a symposium. On the other wall here, you'll see a permanent collection, examples of what moves us, what moves us and what moves us as a society collectively. We are looking at the identifiers of like psychological identifiers and really lifting up affective empathy as an entry point for us to consider the human experience, shared human experience. And those youth voices are across from here, those here. These are all of the squares that you all contributed. They're from all 13 schools. There's a map that shows where they're all from, and it's interactive. So everyone who comes in has the opportunity to carefully turn them and read the label on the back of the age of the child, as well as a statement. And these will be actually shifted out at about the 6-month mark so that we can bring new ones in and have more student work part of the exhibition. So we're really thrilled to share this with you, and we hope that you'll interact with the exhibition virtually. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. And I definitely encourage our Emory students in the room. It's free for you, so please do go and enjoy it. Okay, now we're going to hear from Zoomchung Tashi, the project manager for the Dalai Lama Trust. Tashila has worked in several capacities within the Tibetan Parliament in exile as an office superintendent, and now with the trust, he oversees various charitable activities and projects. Tashila.
Delay, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zoomchung Tashi, and I'm the project manager of Dalai Lama Trust, a charitable wing of Office of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So as we bring this event to a close, I would like to offer a few words of gratitude. First and foremost, thank you all for joining us, whether you attended the entire conference or just part of it. I also want to extend my thanks to those who joined us via live stream, as well as those who will watch this conference online in the future. Above all, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. His Holiness is at the heart of this endeavor and has inspired countless initiatives around the world, including few of the projects that we have explored together over the past 3 days. His Holiness and Emory University share a truly special relationship grounded in mutual respect and a shared aspiration to alleviate suffering and promote well-being of all. I would like to sincerely thank Emory University for organizing this conference with the Dalai Lama Trust and commend them for their vision, dedication, and ongoing development of remarkable work through the Center for Contemplative Science and the Compassion-Based Ethics, led by Dr. Lobsang Tenzin Negila. This conference is the result of a close collaboration between Geshe Negila and Mr. Jambel Hundu, the Secretary-Trustee of Dalai Lama Trust, and we owe both the gentlemen our heartfelt thanks. And I especially want to thank Geshe Negila for his tireless dedication to finding innovative avenues through which to fulfill His Holiness' vision. This includes, but is not limited to, the 3 programs we have discussed here, C-Learning, CBCT, and ETSI, each addressing different communities and challenges, yet all united by the common goal of cultivating compassion and alleviating suffering. On a personal note, I want to thank Sitenla, Jondrila, Hanala, Carola, and others with whom we had the privilege of collaborating closely to make this conference possible. I also extend my sincere gratitude to all our distinguished speakers, moderators, respected abbots, monastic scholars, professors, educators, and the practitioners for generously sharing their wisdom, knowledge, and experience with us. To our panelists and the participants, thank you for sharing your insightful engagement and contributions. I would like to offer special thanks to all the partners for their close collaboration and for helping to expand, strengthen the programs initiated by the Emory University. To all our honored guests who traveled from near and far to be with us over the past 3 days, thank you for making this gathering so meaningful with your presence. I wish to express my heartfelt appreciation to our audiovisual team for their tremendous work in ensuring the smooth running of all the presentations, sound, video systems, and the live streaming throughout the conference. Your professionalism, dedication have allowed this event to reach audiences well beyond this hall and this moment in time. My sincere thanks also go to the staff of Emory University and the Dalai Lama Trust for working tirelessly behind the scenes to make this event possible. I also want to thank Mudita Mathur for designing all the beautiful conference materials, and Karmala from Nobu Graphics in Delhi, Bren from Hero Printers here in Dharamsala for providing all the printed materials, often under very tight schedule and deadlines. My thanks also go to Nobulinga Institute for providing catering services, and to Namje Monastery, Nichon Monastery, Kirti Monastery, and others for assisting with accommodation arrangement for our participants, and as well as the many direct and indirect contributors whose efforts made this conference possible. I want to sincerely apologize to all the participants and the guests for any difficulties you may have experienced with your travel, accommodation, and other arrangements. As you return home, whether nearby or across the world, I hope these past 3 days have enriched you as much as they have enriched me, and that they leave you with so much to reflect upon. The purpose of gathering like this is not only to share these programs more widely and assist their progress, but also to improve them through reflection, dialogue, ideas, and collaboration in both large and small ways. Please join me in praying that projects such as these continue long into the future, inspiring ever greater movements of compassion and bringing benefits to all sentient beings. I would like to close my thank you remark with a prayer often quoted by His Holiness from Shantideva. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I wish you all a smooth and safe journey home. And I also wish you a good health, happiness, and success. Thank you. Thank you so much. Tujina.
Thank you, Tashi. So these 3 days have been truly moving, inspiring, and for me personally, deeply motivating. And before I share my final reflections, I too want to offer some sincere thanks, and you're going to hear some overlap, I think, in some of these. So first, to the staff of the Dalai Lama Trust and the Dalai Lama Library and Archive, not only for providing us with this extraordinary venue, but for the countless acts of care that have shaped our experience here, preparing our wonderful meals and tea, running in the rain to move tables inside, and attending to every detail with such warmth and care. Thank you so much. A special thanks as well to Mudita, who you heard about from Tashi, who designed the beautiful branding and conference program, and to Don downstairs in the control room and his audiovisual team up here as well. They've been ensuring a seamless experience for us in the room, but also live streaming these proceedings so that others around the world now and in the future can learn from the wisdom and inspiration shared here. Thank you to the Compassion Center staff, both here and at home in Atlanta, who have worked tirelessly to coordinate every detail and every logistic of our time together. I want to give a special recognition to Seton Dolkarla, Director of ETSI, who couldn't be here with us in person, but who, as Sandula shared earlier, is truly the person most responsible for coordinating this conference. And to our wonderful, cheers for Seton. Thank you, Nicole. And to our wonderful, wonderful translators, Geshe-Lodo Sangpo, Venerable Karin Gyatso, Dawa Sereng Jongbu, and Sundu Sempel. If you don't know, simultaneous translation is one of the most cognitively demanding activities that you can do, and because of them, the insights shared could reach us all. So thank you all so much again. To our very, very generous donors who believe in this work make it all possible. Your support is woven into every classroom, every training, every gathering like this. This conference and the work it represents exists because you chose to invest in a more compassionate world, and we're so profoundly grateful to you all. And finally, with words that feel wholly insufficient, my deepest gratitude as well to His Holiness the Dalai Lama for nearly a century of tireless service to humanity, for a vision so clear and so urgently needed in our world. Everything we have shared these 3 days flows from the river of his life's work. So when I was thinking about these remarks and feeling a little bit stuck, I kept staring at this beautiful conference logo that Mudita prepared. And it occurred to me that this is so much more than a symbol. This is a story, our story. It shows ripples spreading outward from a single point, moving in every direction, reaching the furthest corners of the world. The rigid shapes and forms that mark the boundaries keeping us geographically apart become more abstract and fluid, merging into one unified body of water. Every act of compassion, no matter how quiet, no matter how small, create these very ripples. A teacher in Thailand who brings sea learning into their classroom, a monk at Drepung Losling who teaches science to a young novice, a CBCT teacher in Singapore who brings CBCT to business leaders, a child in Malaysia who learns for the first time to recognize the suffering of another and respond with care. Every one of these is a droplet, and the ripples spread outward into families, into communities, and into systems in the future, and in ways that we may never fully see. This, to me, is what we've been celebrating these 3 days. Not just programs, not just research findings, but ripples, millions of them, already moving through the world. But we must also be honest with ourselves. Our work is so far from over. His Holiness often refers to the vision of bridging science and spirituality in the service of humanity as a 100-year project. We are, in a sense, still in the very early chapter of this story, and realizing this vision will require all of us to continue working with commitment, creativity, and courage. Yesterday, Uka from Mongolia reminded us of His Holiness's beautiful reflection at our 2022 conference, that we are all His hands. Not some of us, not only scholars, scientists, or senior practitioners, all of us. Whether you're integrating compassion into large institutions or global systems, or caring for those you love in quiet and daily moments, whether you're translating scientific concepts into Tibetan, or teaching a child to take a breath before reacting, you are His hands. And the ripples you send out are real, they touch lives you never meet, and they help shape, slowly and surely, a world that is more compassionate and ethical for all. But in this effort, I want to bring us back to His Holiness's words shared this morning, that it's so important for us to practice and embody the values that we teach. So with this guidance, if it's okay with Geshe-la, I'd like to conclude by doing a brief practice together, if that's okay with you all. And I'm gonna go sit. I think everyone here is familiar with meditation, so we can just jump right in. Okay, so I invite you all to find a position that's comfortable for you. Allow your eyes to gently close or soften your gaze downward, resting your hands where they feel comfortable, in your lap, on your knees. And take a deep breath in through the nose, and then let it go slowly. Again, a full breath in. and a slow release. And one more time, breathing in whatever goodness and connection has been offered to you these past 3 days. And breathing out tension, fatigue, or anything you wish to let go of in this moment. Feel the ground beneath you, solid, steady, supportive. Knowing that you're in this room, this place, supported by mountains that have held humans in contemplation for thousands of years. And just sit and arrive fully in this moment. I invite you to bring to mind someone who's made this conference possible for you personally. Maybe this is a teacher or a colleague or a family member who supported your journey here, the pilot who safely brought you overseas. And when someone comes to mind, hold them gently in your awareness and perhaps offer a quiet thank you. And now let's expand our awareness to the community that surrounds us right now. This remarkable gathering of human beings from every corner of the world, united by the shared belief that compassion matters. Maybe you're feeling the warmth of this community, maybe some love for this community. And with them too, hold them gently in your awareness. And if you feel inclined, offer a thank you. Now I invite you to let your awareness expand just a little bit further to those who could not be here, but whose work and care you know have made this work possible. Others you work with, your students, your colleagues. All of those you know are contributing to the future that we're slowly building together. And again, if you'd like to offer them also a thank you. And as we conclude this brief practice, take a moment to dedicate this practice to those you know to be in need of health and well-being. May the insights and connections formed here carry forward into our lives and work. May the compassion cultivated in this room ripple outward to all beings. May His Holiness the Dalai Lama continue inspiring us for many years to come in health, joy, and the fullness of his vision. And let us set an intention to continue advancing the vision of His Holiness through science, ethics, and compassion. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and come back into this room, this space. Thank you all so much. It's been such a privilege to be with you all. We still have a couple more guests to hear from, briefly, but first I wanted to quickly share that the film that we'll show after dinner tonight has changed. And so we're going to watch now a film called Loving Karma. It's very beautiful. I've watched the trailer that you all will now get to see to get excited for what we'll watch. And after this trailer, we'll have a couple more speakers, so please enjoy.
Some years ago, two filmmakers visited our remote children's community in the Himalayas of northeastern India. They lived with us and began filming our lives. Soon they started to focus on one of our naughtiest children called Tashi. Tashi was new to the community. She was always getting into fights and misbehaving. I was a little worried. Our community is called Jamsegasan, the Garden of Love and Compassion, not Garden of Hitting and Spitting. These filmmakers also wanted to know about the many children could not accept into our community. They asked me difficult questions about the future that these children would have without our help and the pain that caused to me and their relatives. It seemed like they were making a film about our failures. When they finished Tashi and the monk and shared with us, honestly, I was not impressed. It showed our daily lives. It told my story, Tashi's story. Why would anyone be interested? I was surprised when the film screened around the world and people from many different countries started to reach out to us. They used the word hope, that this film gave them hope. The film won many awards.
And the Emmy goes to Tashi and the Monk.
Our worldwide family of supporters began to grow. With more resources, we could accept more children into the community. Now, 10 years later, the filmmakers want to come back. They asked me, how is Tashi now? Can love and compassion really transform human beings? I said, come and see for yourself and bring your camera. Now we have even more naughty children for you to film.
So the film we were originally going to watch was Tashi and the Monk, the first movie, and so we will be watching now Loving Karma, which is this one. So I think, looking at our time, we'll plan to start that at 6:15 after dinner. So please stay and enjoy that film. It's not very long, so thank you. Okay, I'd like to now invite Mr. Lam up to make some remarks, if you will.
No, that's certainly not expected. I was going to give a promo for the film, but since I'm up here, I just want to say thank you for a very enriching 3 days. What you're all doing is really tremendous and enriching and impressive. But let's just look at reality. The public education system was designed in Europe for the Industrial Revolution to produce workers for the industrial economy, and it was exported to the rest of the world by colonialism and capitalism. It's completely outdated, and it's going to be even more outdated with AI, that by replacing the brain with machines is going to cause a decoupling between survival and paid employment. So the public school system would need to change. So governments would need to be convinced. Not only that, but the funders also need to change. There is an organization that we also support called Teach for All, and last year they introduced a program called Inner Leadership for System Change. It's for the school leaders, and it's about inner works and healing. And a major philanthropist went on a retreat with me and said, this is all interesting, but it's not education. I said, what do you mean it's not education? Because it doesn't touch the children, it doesn't talk about how to improve academic results. But I said, but it touches the people who are designing the education for the children. Isn't that more important? No. So what you're doing is really tremendous, and that's why we support it. But it's only a drop in the ocean. So how can we spread the impact to the rest of the world? And one of my favorite sayings is real sustainable impact is a journey of paradigm shift. Let's just meditate on that. So we need paradigm shift, but with inner transformation. And that's what we're doing. And the reason I want to talk about loving karma is we are big supporters of C-Learning and CBCT, but Dhamse Gatsal is the ultimate destination. For me, it is what every C-Learning school in the world should aspire to be in 30 years of time, 50 years' time. I think Shu Mei talked earlier about education is not only about children, it's also about the teachers. I would add to say that education is not about what you teach. It's not that relevant. It's about the how and the who. How you teach with love, and who teaches. Does the person embody love and compassion? And loving karma is an example of that. And I think we're very lucky today that Lobsang Punsok is among us and will be present for Q&A at the end of the film. I think in the late 90s, he was selected by His Holiness to be one of the 10 monks to go spread Tibetan Buddhism in the West. And he did that for a number of years, and then he decided that he would serve the world better outside. And that's when he came back and founded Dhamse Gatsal. Depth is a dimension of scaling, and this is all about depth. So in as much as the program for this conference is tremendous, every session has been enriching, don't think of the film screening as just an afterthought. Try to stay and watch all of it and ask Lobsang Punsok a few questions afterwards. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lam. So to conclude the conference, I'd like to welcome back up Geshe Lobsang Tenzin Neki.
Thank you, Hannah. It's late and I don't want to be between you and the dinner. So let me be very brief. I will echo everything that Hannah and Somjun Tashila mentioned earlier, thanking every one of you. But I do want to take a moment to reflect where we are today and where we began this journey. For me, it was in 1994. As a student at Emory University, a conversation between me and my advisor, Dr. Robert A. Paul, that led to this exploration of a possible partnership between the two civilizations, one of the ancient, that is the Indo-Tibetan Buddhist tradition, and the other, the more modern, that is the Western science or the modern science. I brought that message to His Holiness to seek his advice whether this would be a meaningful adventure, and His Holiness was in a way taken aback to see this proposal from a university, American university. He said that, is there really an interest in this? And of course, I was not representing the whole university's interest, but just my advisor and myself. And I said that my advisor thinks so. So His Holiness said that, okay, then continue, and when it's time, I will come forward. And that happened in 1995 when His Holiness visited Atlanta, and the Emory leadership under the leadership of Dr. Gary Hogg, the Vice President and the Deputy to the University President, together with a few of us, met with His Holiness. And His Holiness asked those gathered from Emory that whether they thought that it would be really meaningful. And everyone nodded. Of course, they went there, so that they would not say no. And on that, His Holiness' response was that, that's good, then start small. Start small. And if it proves to be meaningful, it will organically expand or to grow. And that is a wisdom, that is the kind of the vision, the guidance that we often talk about when we, those who were present and are still on this journey together, that how important was that guidance. Because at the time, it was just an idea. There was no funds, there was no structure, it's just an idea. And certainly the idea that represented a shared vision of Emory University and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, that is the education to mold both character and intellect, or in His Holiness's words, education for heart and mind, both heart and mind. That led to the formation of what became known as Emory-Tibet Partnership in 1998, inaugurated by His Holiness himself, where he provided the vision, a bit more refined vision, I should say, in which he said that this is a historic moment to see the forging of a partnership between the two preeminent institutions of learning that represent best of the West and the East. And through this partnership, we should create programs to complement from two traditions to create the more holistic education that can help the problems the world is facing. Just a bit fast forward, in 2007, His Holiness visited again, at the time to receive or accept, rather, the appointment of Presidential Distinguished Professorship at Emory University. And that was when the ETSI, Emory Tibet Science Initiative, was also launched. At the end of the 3-day visit at Emory University, again, a handful of us, as we visited His Holiness for the final visit before he left, he took a moment to emphasize that the work that we are embarking here, he said that it may start small here in one institution, but he said that this will, and using English word, have a ripple effect. The ripples that you are seeing here, ripples that we are seeing here, and far beyond. It's really an amazing. I cannot believe that we have come this far. But as Hannah said, that it's still in a very nascent phase. The world is much larger. The problems that we face are enormous, and it's only growing. As I mentioned in my beginning remarks, that Lancet article, about 1.2 billion people. That's 1.2 billion, 1 out of 8 of our world population struggling with mental health problems. And that's just one kind. There are so many other problems, climate change and all those things. So our work is still in the very beginning phase. And I think, but I am encouraged to see where we are and all the kind of the commitment that you bring to this, conviction, and your tireless work. I think together, we together, being as Uga's metaphor, that invoking His Holiness comment about being one of the hands. Our Lokeshwara, the Buddha of compassion, has 1,000 arms, 1,000 eyes, representing compassion in the sense to see the suffering of all. The 1,000 is just a metaphor for infinite, countless ways to see the suffering, and 1,000 arms to reach and uplift, to help. That this is also a metaphor for someone who holds such grand vision, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, for his vision for a true global shift of compassion, of compassion. Of course, he would need many, many hands. And thank you for being one of those hands of His Holiness and for this vision. So yes, thank you so much. And as I said, that I will not take much time. That everyone needed to be thanked. Hannah and Tashila already did, but I would be remiss if I don't point out a couple of people. But before that, also, the very source that made for us to be here, for us to have this opportunity to give this meaning to us, and that is His Holiness the Dalai Lama. That I want to thank from the bottom of my heart on behalf of everyone for providing this vision, guiding us, sustaining us. I also want to thank, although Dr. Setin Dolkala was mentioned by Hannah and both Tashila, but this conference here was really it. Most of us were quite distracted with all other things, that all the things happening, and Setin Dolkala that really organized this, spending many days, weeks, staying up at night, early morning I see her sending emails and like that. So I want to give a special thank to Setin Dolkala. And also, as you have witnessed here, for the conference to go smoothly here during these 3 days, Hannah Smith, my colleague, her incredible eloquence and this, the skill that she brings to this, it's really made this conference run so beautifully, seamlessly. So thank you, Hannah, so much. Hannah is, has been the source of number of our such big events and behind the success of those events. Let me conclude by taking a moment to dedicate these 3 days of conference and, for that matter, the work that we are doing. Any goodness, any positive force, any merits, if you will, that arises from our efforts or will unfold in the future. Let's dedicate this towards long life and good health of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and for all his far-reaching, the vision, or altruistic vision for the humanity to come true soon. Thank you so much, and have a good evening, and please travel safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you all so much again. Just a couple of announcements before we go to dinner. The first one is for tomorrow, especially for our affiliate organizations who are going on the tour. Please email Sandhu the number of people from your organization that will be going as soon as you can, like in the next 30 minutes if possible. And just for those groups, you'll be leaving from the temple gate down here at 8:30 a.m. You'll first go to the Tibet Museum, which is actually closed, but will be specially open for this tour from 8:15 to 9:10, and it will close again, 9:15 to 10:30, and it will close again at 10:30. Then you'll go to Norbolinka and likely have lunch there, and you'll end your day at the Kyoto Monastery. So please do email Sandula, who will be coming, and then please go and enjoy dinner, and we'll be back here at 6:15 to start the film, so you have about 45 minutes to eat dinner. Okay, thank you all.